Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching or listening to this, and welcome to this episode of the Non-Identity podcast. Now, this week we're joined by a content creator who's from the UK but now lives in Thailand. It's Cockney Ben. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hello, Lee. How you doing, mate? Right.
Right, before we get into your content creation, can you just explain to people where you grew up?
Well, I grew up, I was dragged up by a fully East End family, fresh out the East End. We moved out when I was tiny. First lived in Basildon in Essex. I went to a Catholic school originally. And then my mum and dad, they moved. Actually, my dad apparently started banging someone from work. So, long story short, he moved us all to Wickford to be closer to the office and who he was banging, I think. Well, so my mum says, but you can't believe anything she tells you. So anyway, that's what I know. So anyway, we ended up in Wickford. I went to a new school. And I'm a Wickford boy. I grew up in Wickford in Essex, basically.
And was you a good kid or a bit of a scallion?
I was misunderstood, mate. But I mean, not even as a kid, I've been misunderstood. Not to get deep and meaningful, like, but I'm diagnosed autistic and ADHD, and my traits of autism are sensory, emotional. Not that I'm emotional, that I lack certain emotions. I can't recognise with some of these. It's only through watching and habit that you learn. But so as a kid, I was the naughty boy. I was the one that, no one wanted me to go around and play. If there was parties, I was the last one to be invited. School trips I missed out on because I was too much trouble, and it weren't whether it was time or what. But in them days, autism didn't exist. In fact, it did. It actually came around in like 1963 was the first diagnosis. Can't remember the guy's name, but anyway. So in the days that I grew up, I was just treated as an awkward kid. I spent a lot of time on my own, away from other kids.
So you weren't diagnosed till later in life. So, like you said,
No, that's a long story. I mean, I got diagnosed almost 40 because that's when it all started for me, because I made an attempt on my life. I suddenly realised I weren't all I thought I was, and I was responsible for my own downfalls without getting too deep. So I made an attempt on my life. Sat very lonely. Beginning of lockdown maybe, or just before the lockdown kicked in. But I lived in Norfolk at the time. I was in a flat, basically in a field. But I was very lonely. So anyway, that led to me thinking a lot about myself. And the most unlikely thing for a guy that I was I found myself just taking numerous amounts of beta blockers, an amount that could have killed an elephant. And that's how I became enlightened and became, I'm a spiritual healer. Well, I don't even like that word. I deal with celestial energy. And I sort of manage and govern celestial energy, and I'm a reader of it. And I mean, I've healed over the last few years. I've healed lots and lots of people.
If you don't mind speaking about it, do you think the attempt on your life was that a cry out for help and you didn't know where else to turn, or did you really just want to leave the earth?
No, I mean, I can tell you exactly, but I didn't. I suddenly realised that actually I was a bit of a piece of shit, mate. I realised that all the mistakes that I'd always thought, it's bad luck, or that was someone else's fault, or there was a lot that was down to me, and it was just me. Your worst. I learned that I believed that at that point I didn't believe in God or religion. I mean, I was raised Catholic till I worked it out about 8. I'm not a religious guy. I thought until I nearly turned 40, until this night, I actually thought that you could do what you want and get away with anything you wanted to if you didn't get caught, because ultimately you go in the ground at the end of it, whenever that time comes, you worm food, and then there's nothing to answer to. Didn't believe in anything like heaven or an afterlife or anything like that, which incidentally I don't really in them words, but that night my whole life changed. Like I took them tablets. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't write a note. I just took them. I laid on my sofa and I thought, you know what? I can't be bothered to wake up. And I learned this was just before this is what led to me getting diagnosed, basically, because I've later found out it was severe PTSD and the effects of living 40 years as a disabled, development delayed man, um, and never been given allowances for it. Just, I'd lose a job because I'd lose something important, or I'd always for stupid. The only time I ever kept jobs, I'm a good salesman because I'm just naturally good at it. Don't matter what I've ever sold, but they're the only jobs where, despite my behaviour, I've managed to hold them for a long time because it's all about how good you are. It's like almost being a good salesman is like being a Grand National racehorse. It's a pain in the arse. It's really expensive. You can't ride it any other time than when it races. It costs you loads of money. It's a pain, but potentially it's your biggest earner and it's worth looking after. So I was the racehorse, but the only career I ever found was sales, and that I was able to stick at that because I learned that if you were really good at it, you could take the piss. So I was able to forget things. I was able to not do the paperwork, and I still lied about it. I'd still say I just hate paperwork, but the truth is, it's autism, like ADHD and autism. I can't concentrate, and when I do, I get overwhelmed. If it doesn't interest me, I won't do it. It's like anything. If I've already sold the car, I'm not going to do the paperwork. Car's been
Exactly.
sold. Someone else will pick that up unless they want to bring the car back.
With the autism and ADHD, obviously, as we said earlier, a diagnosis come on late lot in life. How did that affect your personal relationships with people and friends and family?
I've had loads of. I mean, part of the curses. I know it sounds really vain, but it's not. It's a brutal reality of my diagnosis that I've learned. I've been told by lots of women. It started when I was a kid. Oh, beautiful boy, blue eyes. As I was cute, then handsome, and I was popular with girls. But for no other reason that I looked all right, mate. So
Yeah.
I was the kid at school that would punch someone in the face because I didn't know how else to react. I learned very quickly. I had a fight on the first day of senior school, and I saw the reaction of everyone. And I'd gone years unnoticed, and no one had noticed me. Then all of a sudden, I'm out. Like 500 people watched me. He was actually beating my brother out. He's older than me, but I give him a good hand on the film. Yeah, and then, but I've learned that if you acted a certain way, as much as it was against everything, because I'd never hit no one then or nothing, but I learned that that was the kind to be funny, to be naughty, to punch someone, to be the rogue, to be the one who didn't give a shit, got me through it a certain amount, And I think the fact I was cute or handsome was an absolute hindrance because had I been at school and I've been a smelly kid with dribble running down my chin, with a gammy limp and all that, which tick the boxes of your stereotypical what people would say as disabled or whatever, and it would have been easier for me long term because people would have straight away not even questioned why I behaved the way I did. They just would have known or assumed I behaved the way I did because of the things that I looked like, the physical attributes. But I had none of that. I was a fast runner. I was a good boxer. I was county champion at judo. Because if I liked something, I did it all out and I had to be the best. So I did a lot, but that got me popularity. And then being naughty. Being naughty got me popularity. So I did all that stuff. Actually, after I tried to top myself, incidentally, the other thing that stopped me was my enlightenment, and then, obviously, I was still a bit down and out. Oh no, I think just before I'd done it, I recorded a video, and it was one of my first posts on TikTok. I'd had an account on TikTok for a few months, but never sort of done anything with it. And I just thought, you know what? I didn't talk about top myself and nothing, but I just did it. I was really low and fucking down, and some lady said, "Well, tell people what's going on," because she asked me why I was sat in my dressing gown. But I just shut down, mate. I had no money, I had no heating. I'd just give up, shut down completely over the months. And so this woman got hold of me, but I posted that video. So the next day when I come round, I felt amazing, actually. I felt like a completely new man, like light. And I was really grateful that I'd woke up and I hadn't actually done that. But it was like, I looked at my TikTok, and ironically, the video that got me the most views was the video where I was crying my heart out, saying no, I couldn't go on, and I was freezing. And it was a bad video, man. I mean, I'll dig it out and show you. I mean, I don't even look like me.
Yeah.
I don't honestly don't even look like the same bloke. It's shocking. But it sort of saved me because I just watched the comments, looked at the views, couldn't believe every time I flicked that screen, it was like 1,000. It's got to like 1 million views or something stupid. But it got me through. I thought, do you know what? Yeah, that bit of attention for something, not me pretending dressed in the best clothes, pretending I'm some little gangster. Or what I craved attention trying to do, avoiding going to work, earning money any way I could. Actually, for the first time ever, being me, being honest on a screen, as bad as I looked and as devastating and vulnerable as I looked, got me the most attention and actually like recognition I'd ever had. Well, I knew I really wanted to, like in my heart and soul, I wanted to be on a stage, and because as well as there's certain things that just kill off my symptoms. Like if I get on stage and sing, I I I like feel like I'm interacting. I feel free. I feel like I just feel different when I'm doing it, singing, and when I'm on a stage in general. And it's one of the only things I can do that free me of any symptoms of my autism, and more autism really. And so I learned that, but it's really hard to find anything that does free you of it. It doesn't really daily. I'm fucked with it. Yeah, I think really I'm just trying to think what the message of my podcast, what I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be how managing positive energy and believing in the universe, it can save your life. And sometimes the way that you get there is completely unexpected. And I genuinely tried to just end myself. And when I think now, I must have saved I've genuinely changed the lives of, hundreds of people since I did that, who could vouch for it and say, yeah. And I'm glad I didn't go, because imagine, I had a bigger purpose. I had a purpose to serve, and I'm glad that I'm still doing that. And I feel like this, Lee, if I can find, I would like blokes really. I'd like some blokes, middle-aged, who don't talk about actually how miserable and disappointed with themselves they are, because that's the ones that are in danger of doing something stupid to themselves. But they won't talk. You'd never know. They'll be going to work as a carpenter every day, going home, sticking feet for them, having dinner. But they are that close to just, because they're disappointed in themselves. But I'd like to help them people. So if me and you could get, if a few people could reach out from it, and yeah, that'd be worth doing, I think.
I totally agree with what you're saying, because I think, like you said, life chucks horrible things at people, and we then feel like it's our fault, especially as you're saying, as a older man. Like I'm 38, so like you said, I think by the time you get around this age, you start reflecting on your life and then thinking to yourself, hang on a second, I'm a bit of a disappointment because I didn't do X, Y, and Z. But you can't help what gets chucked at you. So I think your idea of what you just said is a really good idea, that if a group of us just got together and spoke to each other and pointed out, we're very good at finding what we've done wrong, but point out what you've done good.
I want to read cards for them. So what I'd want to do is get them privately, and I'd want to read cards for them. I'd want to document it from start to finish privately, and with their permission, edit it and just journal it and put it their journey. Because if I go hold of some guy who was, the things that you can't deal with someone who's got a serious alcohol problem or drug problem, because as many cards as you read or positive energy you give them, they're never going to fix it. So you're wasting your own energy. But the people I can help are the people that live a normal life. They can go out and have a drink and have a bit of a session now and then, but not the people that rely on it. It's like someone who has got nothing to believe in. They question, they want to believe, they question, like, what is it? What's the point? Someone who always asks why and says I can't, or what's the point? No point. Everyone does it. But they're the things you shouldn't say no more. But it's very easy. I'd like to get old. I'd just like to do a project. So the purpose of me, you want me to do a podcast, but I want you to we share this and get as many people out.
Come across you on TikTok, so that's where
Mhm.
people can find you.
Yeah.
How do you think the platform is at the moment? Because I've been on it for a couple of years. You've been on it for like 3 or 4 years now.
I've just after lockdown, so yeah, about three, maybe just over 3 years. I don't know, but I'm on about my 11th account. So on that note, what do I think of it? The
Yeah,
first thing is, I think it's a platform that's controlled by the small, tiny accounts because they're the ones that spend the money on the gifts and the subscriptions and anything that earns TikTok money. They're the ones that buy from the shops. It's not the big creators that run the page and you'd think are the cogs of the machine. They're not. They're not because there's a million of them. There's billions of them. They're 10 a penny. Um,
yeah.
the things that TikTok would be terrified of running out of are these anonymous tiny accounts that don't want to create themselves. They just want to they're a name on a screen, but actually they like Harry01 Skegness, no picture of Jack Russell, 32 followers. But if he throws a creator, doesn't matter what he said or done or what, if he throws a creator anything above a £5 gift, it don't matter who it is, they're gonna see it, they're gonna make a fuss of him. And every time he comes in the live, they'll have a mental note of it. And they'll know that Harry01 sent that gift. They don't give a fuck about anybody, Lee. What they have is a mental note. And I reckon some of them have fucking pie charts and line graphs and bar charts of who's been in when and who gifts what when. So they know if they do a live at this time, little Johnny fucking Muggins will be there and he'll throw 15 quid at them. Because don't forget to spend 15 quid. For them to get 15 quid, you've got to spend, what is it, 40?
I'm in the same boat as you. I love social media to the fact that we can do stuff like this and I can get messages out, like podcasting out to people. But then the double-edged sword is I find a real positive message or a positive podcast won't do as well as if I have a rant. The other day I ranted about James Corden.
Oh, well,
It's
on
got
that note, Matthew Horn.
oh yeah, yeah,
Well, he's a bell end and all. I used to do acting, mate, and but before he was even anyone, hadn't even done. He hadn't even been Gavin, mate. He was a nothing. So he was on a set with me. He had a proper part though, so he would have been considered hierarchy. I was just in with the extras, mate, and so the makeup artist said, "Oh, she said you look like that lead," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know who he was." She went, "Oh, Matthew Horn." So I was like, "Oh, the fuck's that like?" And she went, "Oh, that's it," pointing him out. And I was like, "Fuck off." I said, he looks like a run over version of me, like me before I got knocked down. And she went,
yeah.
"No, don't say that." Anyway, he come in and everyone had been giggling about the fact that he was a budget version of me. And when he came in, mate, he took an instant dislike to me.
I bet.
Instant. Well, yeah, but I didn't fucking say it, mate. It was just a joke, but someone else said it. But he blatantly had such an ego on him, it killed him off, mate. He was like, "No, I'm the big I am." And so, yeah, he's the ugly version of me with a worst attitude, Honestly.
But I find so I put that video up and that's got 250,000 views in like 3 days. Where I put up a decent podcast and it hits 500, and that's the bit that frustrates me. What we consume as people, we want a bit of drama and a bit of action, and I don't think it's right. If that makes sense.
No, it's a platform based on drama and based on false news, fictional news. I mean, you've got the likes of these big creators like, like the piss artist from Chelsea, haven't you? You got like there's loads of them. I could go into it. I mean that geezer actually who I had a go at that PD Pecker. I only had to go in because I watched his live and he was pulling fucking tarot cards, mate. Like that cunt will try anything. Like he's trying anything. Like, and I quick, who gifts them? Who sends these gifts? Like, the big universes now. You think
Yeah,
who are like who? You're spending on your mum's credit card. And it's now being driven by that because if you look TikTok, TikTok UK, the
yeah.
proper page, they follow me. They only follow 800 people, but I'm one of the people they follow. But I've tried to talk to them so much about all this shit, mate. They don't even respond. They don't block me or nothing, but they don't respond because they're as fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
they're
that's
on it, encouraging it. So like who's your favourite creator out of Chelsea Lee Art and fucking like really absolute like evil Queen Chelsea and that? The best place for them would be to put them in, you know, a walk-through aquarium that you walk through and they're floating above you. Just have them like, honestly, mate, I swear to God, they're embarrassing me. So on the note of what's going on the platform, it's it sides on the side of the troll. You know, I think straight away to have an account, you've got to have an email address. I think you should have to, if you want to, if you're an adult, and you should have to provide a photograph ID. So you know that no matter if you've got one follower or you, doesn't matter. Someone's got a trace of your details. You know, so you are not, these people wouldn't be so brave to go and talk shit. The other thing is, it pisses me off, the shit they say about me, mate, it's unbelievable. Like I've never been arrested, never been to a court of law. Oh, I've beat women up. I've got 3 baby mothers. And like honestly, I've never fucking touched one of them, mate. I don't. One of them off TikTok had me nicked for 9 months and told the police I hit her with a mobile phone, mate. They spent 9 months proving that she was a registered lunatic and had done this to her ex and done it many times, mate. But it took 9 months. But don't matter what proof I post, I've put my certificates from the NHS, mate, and they tell, oh no, he's made that up. Like honestly, mate, I've given the psychiatrist's name. Oh no, he's made that up. Like, why would I lie about being autistic for fuck's sake? Don't get nothing for it, mate. I'm you know, not even there, am I? I don't. It's not what I do it for. I did that so I knew who I was, and explain why I was so exhausted with bullshitting about like playing the bad boy when actually I just wanted to go and be in an amateur dramatics group and sing in a boy band, you know, but I couldn't because that weren't what was cool. And because I'd spent my whole life mimicking and masking who I was, I just continued it till I was 40 and then woke up exhausted. That's basically it. I was absolutely knackered of living bullshit.
When it comes to gifted and stuff, like, why do you feel like people can get onto a phone and start, in a way, begging? Because a lot of these people wouldn't stand on the street corner begging for money, but they can sit in front of a camera and go, send me a rose, send me a rose, send me a rose. I need a line, I need a universe.
So I don't do battles, mate. I've done one in my whole life, and I didn't know what it was. Because a battle, like you can't, say you've got 2 singers, right, doing a battle. I couldn't be singing and you couldn't be singing. Because it'd be chaos, mate. No one's gonna. It is when you do them battles. It is purely a case of who's got the most followers in, the most fucking manipulated, and the biggest mugs. Right? When I do a live, people gift me, mate. I've never earned anything. You know, I could never have survived off anything I've been gifted. But I do get little roses and that here and there. I appreciate everything. But every time I've done it was because I'm sat there singing my heart out. Or entertaining them with a story or a laugh and actually interacting. So therefore, I've busked before. I've sung in pubs. You throw your hat down, and if you do something, you don't mind taking the money.
No.
But what I've never done is walked in a pub, just put my hat down and sat there and done fuck all, and then said, "Hey, get your fucking money out, as I've chucked you out, mate. You won't be my mod." Like, it's ridiculous. The only place that mentality exists is on social media, and particularly on TikTok.
I totally agree with you. If you're doing something, then people don't mind paying, because we pay for our TVs, we pay if we want to go to the cinema, so you don't mind paying.
Mate, there is sorry to cut you off, but there is so many. I call them like their manipulation techniques. There's so many different types of manipulator on there. You've got it from the girl who's got nothing on her screen apart from something that says, "Don't gift me as I'll scream." Yeah, but that's manipulation 101. You've got it. Who is going in? You know, like, but that's number one manipulator. So lie and say, "Don't give me as a scream." And then you've got number 2, the guy sat there going, "Yeah, I'll guess your age or your occupation or your shoe size." And then the only people they're guessing for are the people that send fucking gifts.
Yeah. No.
You know, but these people think they're a guru in guessing fucking ages, you know? I'll send you a rose, guess me the lottery numbers, you cunt. I've just shut your mouth. That is it. If you can't tell me the winning horse in the fucking derby on Saturday or this week's lottery numbers, I won't give you fuck all, mate. Never. And then the other one, mate, these. Have you seen these?
Oh yeah, the AI stuff. What is that about?
Those. Now, listen, I've found one or two that actually are quite good at mimicking a robot, whether it's quite weird. But I still wouldn't gift them for it because I find it really bizarre that they're stood in their house all day doing that.
Yeah, no,
Like,
100%. I don't know if it's just way different algorithms are, but I've noticed. I think you sort of said it a bit earlier as well. Like everyone's tarot reading now. Everyone's sitting there shuffling cards, saying, "I'll do you a reading." That seems to be
mate,
that or that on my lives.
I'll do you a reading, bruv, right? Proper one, art to art, and I know nothing about you,
No,
but I will open you straight up, mate, and I bet you I'll have you probably in tears, in a good way. I'll have you feeling relieved and empty of all that bad shit gone, and I can do that within 1 hour, mate. But I can do that for anyone. I've got packs of cards, books I don't read, don't bother. It's my meditation, my enlightenments that I take forward and give to other people. I read people and I read the universe. I don't read cards. You use cards. I could throw 25, 30, 20p's on the floor and I could pick six of them or see what pattern they fall in, look at you and tell you what's going on in your life to a very accurate point, mate. But yeah, they're full of shit. Everyone's a fucking tarot reader, mate.
because like you're saying, you said within an hour, these people in the lives are literally saying, "Send me a gift and I pull out a card for you."
All
It
right, so
doesn't work
listen,
like,
let's
does
do an
it?
experiment then. So let's do an experiment then, right?
Yeah,
So I ain't even got the cards here, right? But I'll do it now, right? So
okay.
okay, Lee, you've sent me some gifts. You've asked me to do your reading. Bearing in mind, right now you wouldn't be here nodding. You'd just be a picture of you, or probably like a Great Dane
Or a
or
name.
anything, mate.
Yeah.
So I'm now pulling a card. All I know is your name's Lee. Generally, you've paid me. Okay, Lee. So you probably feel actually that you're a little bit stagnant. Um, Yeah, and you felt a little bit lost, like lack of purpose just recently. Do you have problems with your dad or the father figure in your life?
It's all open. So you
Mate,
do
they're
need to
just
fit.
open you up.
Yeah.
How does your lower back? Do you have lower back pain ever?
Yeah.
Do you? You don't drink enough water,
No,
mate? It's so easy to open people, but they're not even doing that.
no.
They're not even doing that. They're not even doing that. They're saying, oh, it's the seven of swords. I don't do tarot, mate. Tarot's for bullshitters. I do energy cards are different. Tarot's for liars. So they'll go, oh, it's the seven of swords. That means you'll have a battle ahead. Oh, but here comes the ten of swords. Ten of swords that says that the outcome of the battle will be unknown. It's like so vague and shit. You don't know what the fuck is actually going on with it. What I do, I won't do readings like that. You'll know. Anyone I read for is a private video reading, me looking at them sat somewhere, me with meditation music on. And it takes over an hour for the first reading, over an hour. But I always follow up. So I don't just do a reading and leave you. It's about keeping you switched on to positive energy and making you stay focused on the good and the want and the fact that if you do good and you care about people, could be a telephone call, could be just thinking about someone, a stranger, friend, whatever. Do good, get good. You can ask for stuff. So it's teaching people actually your life's a bit shit because you're doing the good stuff, but you don't think you deserve nothing. So you're not asking for stuff for you. The minute you change, you will get that stuff. And it's about teaching them and then helping them maintain it.
Manifestation.
Yeah, I do manifest, mate. I manifest every day. So every day I say this. So in all I see the universe and urge abundance into my life. I understand abundance comes in many forms, spectacular, crazy, fucked up ways. Today it will come to me. I'll do good and good comes back to me. I'll give and I'll receive. I love and I'll be loved. So I'm neck. And I'll say that every day. And that's an abundance sort of like a mantra, if you like. And I'll look in the mirror and be grateful for five things as well. So I'm grateful for five things every day. And every day I'll ask for five things. But my life's good, mate. I don't over ask. But something good's coming to me very soon, mate, and I'll let you know what it is. Let's tell you what things I would implement on TikTok. Only traceable accounts, some form of ID, no matter how big they are, whether they are creators or watchers. I would make every account traceable by phone number. rather than email, because emails are too easy to keep making.
Yeah.
You know, I've had phone number accounts and I've lost the account. You can't ever log on again. It's an arse. I'd also make TikTok's reports not automated and run by a robot. You know, I'd make them when they get to it. I'd make it so it flags up when it's so, you know, because there's times when I've like it's ruined my life, mate. Shit, or not necessarily what they've said, but the consequences of fake reports. You know, like I've known I've got a week at home on my own, can't go anywhere, and I've got it planned. Like once one Christmas that I got a ban on Christmas Eve, and I was on my own on Christmas. So from Christmas Eve right till to day after New Year's Day, I had no TikTok. But TikTok didn't realise, to them it's nothing. But to me, mate, I'd tried to top myself 2 months before. That account meant everything to me. All the stuff I've been reported for was an absolute load of rubbish. And none of these accounts had more than 5 followers, no picture. I was doing all right, you know, I was traceable, I was there, but I was just trying to say to them, look, I'll do anything, give me my account back because I need it for mental health. But it's automated responses, and when you're not well, and TikTok's your only, because it doesn't say, "Oh, can you have you got mental health? You know, tick this box and you can't have an account." But it should come with a warning that listen, if you've got autism or any development delay or any mental health condition, you should know that if you need us, we ain't there, mate. And despite whether you're in the right or the wrong, you're fucked because it's a computer that don't understand. You know, there was videos of me, pictures of me, videos of me in my name. Cockney Ben's a something and a fake. It went on for ages, mate. All because I told some girl I didn't want to go out of her, mate.
That's crazy.
She was one of my mods. Honestly, they'll tell you whatever it was, but that is what it was. We went out on a Saturday. She told everyone that I'd arranged to meet the week after, but I was so put off by the date, to be honest with you, mate, that and I only went because they'd been on for months about, oh, you got to go out with her, you got to go out with her, you know, so I just felt pressured, so I did. And worst thing I ever did, mate, because that she went out of her way to play the victim, mate, and made me out to be some right arsehole. But actually, all I did was I didn't do what blokes do. I didn't lie and make up reasons why I couldn't see her and change my number and go stuff. The first time I was asked, I said, no, I don't want to have another date. We'll keep it as it was. We'll be friends. You'll still be my mod, but we won't date again. Oh my God, that was the worst thing ever.
Until you just said it, I'd never see. Because I'm not, as I keep saying, I'm not against this, but this Insta world's crazy sometimes. Like, I get the up about something now, post a video, in the heat of the moment, look back at it and think, oh, I should have said that. But I didn't but I didn't actually think of it as being, like you just said, like you was on your own, and in a way, that was your connection to the world. You could reach out and speak to people.
Mate, I had nothing. I literally had nothing, and that was my lifeline. I'm not lying, right? That year, some wind-up merchant had told me for 2 days they were coming down from Scotland because they was on their own to spend Christmas with me. They even told me what they were bringing, so I went out and bought the other stuff. They never turned up. Literally just kept me hanging on till the end of cover of Scotland. So and then eventually I think it was like, well, it must have been Christmas Day, Christmas morning, I'd realised they weren't coming. So, and then I'd been banned. So I was literally completely left alone, mate. And yeah, but TikTok don't let anyone sign up, but they've got no one's welfare in mind.
No, because I suppose we're just money to them. The more we watch, the more money it generates, the more people buy stuff, food, stuff like that. So I think that's probably all they care about.
The big creators being on there generate the money.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you now, do you know what I could do if I wanted to earn the most money on TikTok right now? But I don't do it because it's not what I want to do. I could go on there, stir up some old shit, put my comments back on so you get paid for comments and views. And the best way to earn money is to be hated.
Yeah.
To be so controversial, you're hated because it works. Because you'll always have them people who love to hate, and so they jump. I mean, not joking. When that thing happened, nobody knew. I had people that were in there telling me how much I'd saved them, and that I had like there's some girl told me a story that the night we met, she come on my TikToks because she tried to top herself. She drank some vodka, and just as she was about to take this overdose, she heard me singing. So she sat and watched that for the whole night. So I saved her life. Well, that same girl said that the minute this girl, mate, said that little thing about the date, that was it, mate. Ah, she was one of the biggest instigators of me hate. But pure, not because she felt sorry for the girl, but because she wanted to hate me.
Yeah.
It's so weird, mate. These people are so obsessed with you. It's like if they realise actually if they're so obsessed, if they realise if actually they're not going to get you and their fantasy ain't real, they can't wait for the opportunity to do the opposite and try and wreck your life.
How do you deal with haters now? Like,
Mm,
do you just ignore it, or is there a?
well, I'm happy. So just the fact I'm happy in life in all aspects, um, they can't get to you, mate. Like they don't matter what they say. Like anything they say, I could like what they're gonna do. They say, "Oh, Ben's a domestic abuser." Well. Let's see my record then.
Yeah.
Let's speak to my little girl who I split up with her mum when she was 3, and she's been in my life ever since regularly. You know, she'll tell you straight, but they won't ever do that, mate. They wouldn't ask. They don't ever ask.
No.
They'll say, none of his kids like him." It's not true. The only one I don't see is one who's got autism, mate, and his mum sadly is an alcoholic and she's abusive, and I was coercively controlled. But because they found that out, what they do is these dickheads, they go at your veins. So then what they did was call me a coercive controller. Mate, mate, I'm autistic. I can't even control my own fucking life, mate. I could say now, oh, Lee's from fucking Planet Zogwog, and he eats baby rhinos and doesn't even keep their horns. He just throws them away.
How do you know
Right,
that?
so that's very far fetched, but there'll be some dickhead who believes that.
Yeah.
And not
You
only
know,
that, they'll take it from you doing eating rhinos to then you breed them and you sell them fucking horns.
because that's the thing. Like, I'm dyslexic, so I rely heavily on captions, but I don't always catch it. But I get a lot of people to want to correct me on captions, or someone will sit there and take the mick out because I've got a lazy eye. But I just sit there and think, like, you don't know me, so I don't care. Because my wife sometimes
Now,
says to
how
me,
did I know? Listen, how did I know you've got a lazy eye, right? And not that the other one's just hyperactive.
exactly, very true.
When next time someone says, "Oh, you've got a lazy eye," say, "Shut up, you cunt! I've got an hyperactive
Right.
eye."
That's a good response. But my wife's like, ain't you going to say anything? But what I try and say to her is like, what people don't realise, the more they comment, good or bad, the more my stuff gets pushed out. So in a way, it's doing me a favour. So let them comment because they don't know me. If she was to say something to me, that would hurt me. If Joe Blogs down the road says something to me, I don't care. I don't know you. You don't know me. You don't affect my life.
It's like a geezer in the fucking bush in Africa saying to his mate, "I don't like Cockney Ben, he's a fucking bastard." I said, why would you care?
Exactly.
I'm never going to go there. I'm never going to meet him. It don't matter to me, does it? It's like,
Exactly.
like some dogs don't like you and they'll bark or they'll fucking, go for you. And you don't get offended, didn't worry about it. You just know that some dogs are like that. Some people are just like that, mate. Honestly. My profile says PTSD, ADHD, autism, AS is adult autism spectrum disorder. So it says what letters you got. So some guy come in and like, no, if it's got some kind of picture and they're polite, I don't click the account and check because he's so busy. But if it hasn't got a picture and it's anonymous and it's a stupid name, like something ridiculous. But this wasn't. This was like something like Karen Cliff or something like that. And it was a picture and it just said, "Oh, really sorry to hear you've got PTSD. Can I ask what's caused it?" So I spent 5 minutes explaining what caused my PTSD, growing up with autism, not knowing who I was, hiding who I was exhausted, fucking, blah, blah, blah. Undiagnosed development delays, basically, and ADHD. I said, after I'd finished, it comes straight back up, same thing, said, So you've got PTSD, yeah? Can I ask how you? Can I ask you what caused your PTSD? And then same again. So I thought I'd explain it again short in case they missed it. Straight away, come up. Just one more time. Can you explain what caused your PTSD?
Oh,
So what they're
yeah,
trying to do is cause you fucking PTSD.
yeah,
But you should be able to. I should be able to go back to my live, screenshot that 3-4 minute interaction, highlight what I'm offended by, what's hurt me, send that to you or someone at TikTok who's a real person, because anyone who's real would see that they were trying to trigger someone who's PTSD, which is, it might not be an out and out like violation, but in the real world, that's the type of shit that needs to stop.
the only thing to throw back at that is how would you control that? Because of TikTok's such a big platform now and it's got billions of people across the world using it, can you physically sit people down to manually go through all that stuff? It's a hard
Well,
one.
what I would do, anyone who's not willing to share contactable information, so i.e., a contract phone number in their name, not a pay as you go, a contract. It's got to be a traceable contract number in their phone. A passport valid, or some kind of driver's license of wherever country they're from. Yeah, that's what they'd have to have an account of a creator standard or a viewer standard. And then I would have it for these people that want to be trolls. I'd let them make an account with an email and be untraceable, but I would limit what they can do.
Yeah.
So
That
I'd
makes
let them
sense.
watch. I'd only let them watch.
Turn off their comments and stuff like that.
Well, everything.
Yeah.
So the minute they get access to comments and everything else is when they put a traceable bank account in with ID, so they can top up with gifts or that would be TikTok's reason. But actually, ultimately, it's just so there's a traceable account.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense.
Or think
Yeah,
about it. Any of these trolls that have ever been abusive to me, you, or anyone, there's a good chance, I reckon, at least 20% of all trolls that have ever been abusive and deserve to be, outed for it, have sent a gift at some point.
yeah.
Well, therefore, they've got to have put some kind of payment in. But all you've got to do is make people aware that you are traceable. And if it breaks the law, then, if someone's, because what they do with me, they'll say, they'll be having a go at me, like fucking saying really nasty shit. Actually, not saying stuff like, I can't hold down a relationship, I ain't got none of his kids in his life. But the truth is, mate, I'm registered vulnerable and disabled. I've got a development delay. A psychiatrist has told me the reason I've not been able to develop them relationships is because I'm emotionally
Detached type
alien.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm overwhelmed by senses that nobody else even fucking notices, mate. I
That's
can't
hard.
I can't let her lay in bed and tickle me not because I don't love her, because I adore her. But if anyone tickles me, it sends feelings through my body that are so horrible, mate.
No, I
And
get that.
I've spent years in relationships. I mean years where I've made excuses for that not to happen, or I've pretended it's all right. When actually I'm there fucking like the worst ever, I do eye contact because I was a salesman and I had a very good I met some real good guys growing up, like people who I looked up to as dads. I didn't have no fucking father figure, mate. Another story. But in fact, worse than that, I had two that just weren't father figures. They were abusive or absent. So I developed bonds with like Lee. His name was Lee, funny enough. He was a right cause, but he was a lifeguard at Wickford swimming pool. So on a Thursday night, it was that father and son night, or father and kid night. I think it was father and son, actually. And I used to go down, like I used to want to swim all the time, but on a Thursday I used to stop going down there because my dad, like I couldn't get my dad wouldn't have done that. You didn't even see him. But Lee, the lifeguard, for about fuck it, I reckon for what must have been at least that whole year, maybe more, as long as we did that as kids. He met me at the fucking bit where you washed your verrucas and then threw me in the pool every Thursday, mate. Yeah, yeah, right. And then I'll tell you a story. One day, my dad, I don't know why, but he fucking come down there. And my dad was waiting for me because obviously throw me in. And that Lee grabbed me and he threw me in. And I let him. My dad had come down there. Yeah, but So father figures, I looked up to other people, you know. So I think my whole life, that's what I've done. I've watched how men act, or thought that's, you know, like what how you meant to act.
Yeah.
But from fatherly figures, I think.
Cockney Ben. Why the name Cockney Ben?
Because my cock's down to my knee.
Fair point.
People think it's from where I'm from, but I've
That's
got
what
a
I was gonna.
massive. It's not because Cockney. Although like we're all Cockneys. I class myself as an East Londoner, which is, well, I think that's a Cockney.
Stuff about a year ago with you and Alison Hammond. Are you right to go into that?
She spent a lot of time manipulating me, like all of ITV do, and I'd like to tell my story because I was one of three blokes. She actually didn't get attached to me, but I was one of three blokes she was trying to have relationships with, you know, and I'd just like to show that ITV actually, like, this comes across some bubbly, big, jolly black lady, but she's a raving fucking crackhead and loves a spliff. I'd like you to test her because she's definitely been working over the limit. And you've had her driving cars on ITV and doing all this stuff where you've got to be sober. Stays in your system 2 days. See now?
Look,
And I've got screenshots, messages. So February, Alison Hammond come in my TikTok, left a comment. She followed me. I followed her back. Blue tick. I was like, fucking hell, yeah. I want to be famous. I want to be fucking a superstar. So I was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to get straight on this morning as a roving presenter. Anyway, long story short, she's invited me to premieres and kept inviting me to hotels to stay. Not just once, loads. Coming up with it, like Avatar premiere. What was it? Black Women of Distinction Awards or something. Well, there was loads of awards. So, but every time it involved me having to go out to London, and the question every time was, "Are you going to get the train home? Are you going to stay?" Now, me, I in my hand on heart, mate, I didn't want to put myself in an awkward position of being in a hotel room with Alison. I just made up excuse. I said, "Oh no, I'll just get train home." She asked me if I wanted to share a room with her and was I going to sleep with her. Basically, sent me a picture of her tits in the bath. He was seeing two other geezers as well. She's just had arrested and fucking done. His name's Ben. He was her gardener. He's been her gardener for years, mate. I knew all about him and I knew she was shagging him. But also in the time she knew me, she was shagging that first geezer, the older bloke. I'm not making that up. She's fucking terrible. So this Alison Hammond, whiter than white, they're all cunts on ITV, mate. Like, honestly, not joking. One by one, they're all going to fall. So anyway, all I did was she asked me to get a new hat and a suit to go to this Avatar premiere. Literally, mate, I'm not joking. About an hour, she asked me to go fucking France, Dubai. I didn't have a passport then, so but she asked me, mate, and then the last straw was she asked me to go to Avatar premiere. I was really excited about going. I went to Soho House on my birthday. She paid for it all. We had meal and she tried to snog me at the fucking station, mate. Andy Peters was there, mate. He's trying to whack a tongue down in it. So anyway, yeah, mate, I'm not even lying. So anyway, this Avatar premiere, I'm not joking. I'd spent £100 in a hat, £100 in a suit, money I didn't have. I paid for it. She never gave me nothing, mate. I paid for it. I booked the ticket to go, and about a few hours, no, day before, I think it was the night before the morning night to go, she'd asked me if I'd stay with her in a hotel. And innocently, I just said, "Oh no, I'll come back." Oh my God. Then next breath, I said, "Oh yeah, I've been a bit nervous, obviously." I said, "Because of my autism." It's the first time I'd mentioned it. I said, "Because of my autism and that." I said, I'm a bit odd sometimes. I said, "I hope there ain't a problem." And she went, next minute, she went, "I've just been thinking it's probably not a good idea me going with you. There's going to be paparazzi everywhere and I could do without the stress." And oh, fuck it. So anyway, mate, I sat there and digested it, and a day or two later, I put a post on saying, "Alison Hammond, you fucking cunt." I was like, "You're a fucking predator, mate." And that went viral. That got 500,000 views, then got banned. Lawyer phoned me, said, "If you don't take it off, because you can't prove it's true." So, but I should have stuck to my guns, mate. I should have just told her to fuck off. I said, "Actually, it's her word against mine. Tell her to prove it ain't true." Told me she get me on Big Brother. Told me she had someone from ITV. Oh, mate, she took me all the way to London. Said someone from ITV was going to be there, and they were looking for someone to do a show. There was no cunt there, mate.
Probably see the world.
Honestly,
Yeah.
she's a proper manipulator, mate. Honestly,
No.
and that geezer, that Ben, that gardener, what he did, his mistake was he got off his tits and threatened her for money. Had he not done that, because she handed him so much money, mate. And because she was being flashed, she once phoned me and went, why don't you took me on a date? And I went, date? I said, I can't fucking afford to take anyone anywhere. She went, Ben, I'm a multi-millionaire. She went, you say where we're going and I'll take us there. But that's manipulating.
Yeah.
And you know what? She didn't like the fact I was autistic. She saw it as a bit of a risk.
Yeah, no,
All of a
exactly.
sudden, she
That's
did
what I'm
a
saying.
risk. She didn't like that. She didn't like that. I kept telling her. I didn't say I didn't want to have sex with you, but every time she said, "Oh, you're going to stay with me, babe," she would share a room, and she'd say, "Do you want your own room?" And I'd say, "Well, no, I'll just get train home." And then all of a sudden, the night would be cancelled. I just thought stuff would come up. I've got a message from her saying, "Oh, I'm worried about you, babe. What's this video you put on TikTok? I'm actually worried about you. The reason I'm not being in touch is because my niece is ill and I've got family issues going on." But yet again, more lies, mate. Because
Yeah.
within 2 seconds, it's just all, but she's a liar, mate. It's all the stories about out in ITV.
Right. We'll go on to the last question. I've had such fun on this one. Your answer will not change your life journey so far, but if you had 30 seconds with your 13-year-old self, what would you say?
If I wouldn't need 30 seconds, mate. I'll tell him to hold his breath and it gets better. But before it gets better, it gets worse. But hold your breath. You've got a big job to do and everything will be all right.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for joining us. It's been brilliant, and I'd love you to come on for a part 2.